학생들 안녕! So in the past 2 episodes we've discussed Korean past tense and present tense conjugation, and I'm pretty sure those were quite straightforward. And today we're going to focus on the last, I'll say, major conjugation that there is, and that's future tense, which can be a little bit confusing to some because it involves a little bit more than just one way of conjugating things, and depending on the way you conjugate something in the future, the meaning of the sentence can change a little bit. Don't worry if this sounds intimidating, it won't be at the end, so let's dive straight into it. The first 2 ways you can conjugate Korean verbs and adjectives are quite basic. They mean that you are going to do something in the future, there you go. And they even sound very similar. So a lot of beginners confuse them sometimes, but they actually mean slightly different things. In order to conjugate in the future, you either add 을 거예요 or 을 게요 to the word stem. That's pretty much it. If your word stem ends on a vowel, like 하다, 가다, 사다, you add the 를 to the stem and then you say 거예요. If you have the word stem that ends on a 를, like 놀다, you take away the da and you're left with a 놀, and then you literally just add 거예요. And then if you have a word ending on a consonant, you add the 을 before 거예요. Okay, does that make sense? In terms of just like grammatical conjugation, yeah? In terms of meaning, if you're saying 공부할 거예요, that is just a fact. You literally mentioned something, either that was an answer to a question, like, oh, what are you gonna do today? 오늘 뭐 할 거예요? You just say 공부할 거예요. That's it. You answered the question, it's a fact, it's very straightforward, there's no opinion, there's no assumption or kind of a hidden will to do something. No, very straightforward. With 할게요, it's more of a response to what someone else said, but not in a response to just a direct question. It's more of like someone said something and that made you want to study tonight. Or you feel like in this situation you kind of are supposed to say that you should study. Or it's a reaction to something someone said, or you're waiting for someone's reaction, like 공부할게요. And maybe you want someone to say that, oh, I'll join you, or like, oh, like that's great, you know? So you're kind of waiting for a response or a reaction, or you are responding or reacting to something that happened. Does that make sense? The difference is literally so slight, and it's very hard to put it in words, but I feel like as the more you use both 을 거예요 or 을 게요, the difference is gonna begin to get a little bit more obvious to you guys. So with that, we can move on to the 2 other ways you can say things in the future. Just letting you know, there are so many more ways you can say things in the future, which I'm not going to go into because those are quite complicated grammatically, and I feel like we're not there yet, but I will definitely, as we get more and more comfortable with our Korean, we're definitely going to dive into that as well. But for today, I'm going to focus on 2 more ways to say things in the future, and that is by adding 을래요 to the stem or by adding get to the stem. So when you add 레요 to the stem, the same conjugation patterns apply whether there's a consonant or a vowel or a 를 in the stem, but in terms of meaning, again, there's a slight difference, and if you're looking at, for example, 갈래요, it's actually much closer to 가고 싶어요 than 갈 거예요, I think. In my opinion, 갈래요 combines both of those, 갈 거예요 and 가고 싶어요, and puts in one sentence. So if you don't want to say both of them separately, you can just say 갈래요 and it will mean both of them at the same time. So 갈래요 is more like I want to go and I will go. 혼자 할래요. I want to do it on my own and I will do it on my own. Also, 할래요 can be asked as a question, pretty much the same way as 을 거예요 or 을 게요 can be turned into a question as well. If you're in a coffee shop and you are asking someone, 뭐 마실래요? What would you like? And what are you going to drink? You know? So it's kind of combining those 2. Or 언제 만날래요? Or 언제 만날래? That's very informal. Speaking of formality, 레요, don't use that ending if you are in a formal situation. If you're in a situation where you have to speak to people formally, don't use 레요. It's a very casual way of speaking to people, and just only use it with those that you're comfortable with, yeah? Just giving you guys a heads up. 언제 만날래요? Or 언제 만날래? I would ask that question to my boyfriend, obviously because we're boyfriend and girlfriend and we like spending time with each other, This is more of like, so when are we going to meet up? So 언제 만날래? Obviously, all you girls out there, you can definitely use 애교 on this one as well. Like, 오빠, 언제 만날래? Even though I'm not a fan of using 애교, but you can. So moving on to get. If you want to say that you're going to go somewhere, you can say 가겠어요. 가겠 and then 어요. To me, when you're adding get to something, it's more like you're putting your own opinion into it, and it also can kind of interpret an intention to do something, or a suspicion of something, or an assumption. So, for example, if I'm going to look out the window and say, 내일은 날씨가 춥겠어요. You know, I think the weather tomorrow is gonna be cold, which I do, because it does not look nice outside. Similarly, you can say, 한국에 가겠어요. I'm gonna go to Korea. This would really show your intention, your will to do something, but without necessarily maybe being 100% correct. It's kind of like a speculation. And now that we've went over all of the different ways you can conjugate Korean verbs and adjectives in the future, I would like to take one sentence and just show you guys the small, tiny little difference that it can have in terms of meaning depending on the conjugation. So it's a very simple sentence, and it's basically 집에 가요, present tense. Yeah? In the simple future tense, you can say 집에 갈 거예요. That would mean you're stating a fact, I am going to go home. But when you're saying 집에 갈게요, it's more of like, I will go home while I'm looking for a reaction from all of you guys. Is anyone else going in the same direction? Is that okay? Or someone just said, okay, I'm going home, so you're saying 저도 집에 갈게요. It means the same thing. 집에 갈 거예요, 집에 갈게요, I will go home. But the first one is a fact, the second one is more of a either responding to something or looking for a response or a reaction from someone. Alright? Then 집에 갈래요 is more of like, I want to go home and I will go home. Killing two rabbits with the same stone, basically. And lastly, 집에 가겠어요 is more of like, I think I'll go home. Those of you who know a little bit more of Korean grammar may notice that the 가겠어요, just 겠어요, is very similar to the 것 같아요 ending of like, oh, I think, or I'm assuming, kind of in the future, which is also a future tense conjugation, but it's a little bit complicated, so we're not gonna get into it today. But those of you who do know it, and you made that connection between 겠어요 and the 것 같아요 ending, they are quite similar. You can see similarity, so good for you, brownie points. Alright, so that is it for today. I'm sorry if this was a little bit too long of an episode, but future tense has a lot of things to cover, so yeah, please bear with me. I hope you all have a wonderful upcoming weekend. Enjoy, have fun. Christmas is coming up soon. I've put up Christmas lights and Christmas decorations in my room. I even have my own little Christmas tree right here. And yeah, and it's fake and it's really light. And it's amazing because I can just put it under my bed throughout the year when I don't use it and just put it back up. Woohoo! So yeah, I'm feeling very festive and Christmassy, and I hope you guys are feeling that too. So yeah, happy holidays, upcoming holidays, and yeah, I'll see you all soon. 안녕!